Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 12th of May. Now, I've spent a lot of time here over the last few weeks talking to you about the Broadway musical, but I wonder if I asked you when you thought the first real Broadway musical was, I wonder what answer you'd give me to that question. Some of you might think the American musical was born in 1943 with Oklahoma. Reasonable. Some of you might say 1927 with Showboat. Pretty sensible. Some of you might say 1866 with The Black Crook, if you must. I hope you'd be more likely to suggest to me that it was somewhere between 1915 and 1918 when Jerome Kern wrote a series of musicals for the Princess Theatre. This was a small 299-seat theatre, no longer exists. He wrote this series of musicals with two English writers, Guy Bolton and P.G. Wodehouse. I tried to interest quite a few producers in marking the centenary a few years ago, but I couldn't get anyone really interested in it, which seemed like a shame to me. However, I think we should pursue some of this early Kern, and I'd like to talk to you about the two shows Jerome Kern wrote for Marilyn Miller. Now, she was a huge big star, a dancer and soprano, and in 1920, Florence Ziegfeld commissioned Sally. This is the show that famously contains Look for the Silver Lining, and the libretto is by Guy Bolton again and another Englishman, Clifford Gray, and it was a huge success. And then a few years later, Kern was commissioned again, this time by Charles Dillingham rather than Ziegfeld, to do another show for Marilyn Miller, and this time he paired up with two American writers, with Otto Harbach, and for the first time with Oscar Hammerstein II, and here they are, Jerome Kern, Oscar Hammerstein, Jerry and Oscar. They would, of course, within 2 years produce Showboat. It's funny, we look back at this period and the plays that were being written at this time, Noel Coward's Hay Fever, Bernard Shaw's St. Joan, Eugene O'Neill's Desire Under the Elms, we still produce these plays, but these musicals, they had huge casts, they had good-sized orchestras, they had big, lavish sets, and it just doesn't seem likely that we're ever going to see them again. Sunny has a delightful score, I think. I just want to say her co-stars were Clifton Webb and Jack Donahue, who both went into the movies, and then the London production starred our own Binny Hale and the great Jack Buchanan. Anyway, the score was orchestrated by the great Robert Russell Bennett, and I would love to perform the Madrigalette for you, but it requires 3 voices, so the Madrigalette will have to wait, but I'd like to dip into the score of Sunny this morning. First off, let's imagine ourselves, this is the Act 1 finale. We're in the grand saloon of an ocean liner crossing from Southampton to New York, and our heroine, Sunny, who is a circus performer, she's about to get married, and the guests are very excited. Every guest is in the room, on every face a knowing grin. Not a sign of bride or groom to step along to Lohengrin. Don't say that I said so, my dear, but I consider it just a bit queer. Wonder how she caught the man, she had no trouble pleasing him. He was hardly worth the plan, I don't see what she sees in him. Don't say that I said so, my dear, but I consider it just a bit queer. Maybe he's the careless kind and clean forgot to get her a wedding ring with which to bind the promises, etc. Don't say that I said so, my dear, but I consider it just a bit queer. Doesn't look as though there'll be a ceremony here today. Maybe we are here to see a marriage not without the K. Don't say that I said so, my dear, but I consider it just a bit queer. And then the bride and groom start arriving. Anyway, I'd like to perform some more of the score of Sunny for you. The two most famous numbers are both Bright Gallops, if you like, the title song Sunny, and most famously Who, as in Who Stole My Heart Away, which I will always remember my friend Louise Gold singing as Zelda the singing and her singing owl on the Muppets. Who stole my heart away? I digress. So, our heroine has got married at the end of the first act, and in the second act, there's a turn up for the box. Dearie, here we are waiting for one sweet day, but we can't even budge till we hear from the judge, who will say, go be gay, no more love and obey. And oh boy, what a joy to be free as the air, and we won't have a care when we get our divorce from the district court. What a happy young pair we will be. Don't would life be complete when we get our sweet interlocutory decree? I will buy you a bunch of forget-me-nots, and will dress myself up like a horse. To the witness stand we'll go hand in hand. I won't care what you testify, I'll think it best if I know we can get our divorce. When we get our divorce from the district court, what a happy young pair we will be. You can go your way, I can go my way, that will be heaven for me. I will buy you a cute little bungalow, but I'll never come near it, of course. Still, if you are pressed, there's an extra guest, then perhaps I'll get clubby with your second hubby and tell him about our divorce. So there we are, Sunny, something to explore. There's a couple of movies, I believe, but I've never seen them. They're not supposed to be all that marvellous. But Jerome Kern, Oscar Hammerstein, Otto Harbeck, thank you very much. Have a lovely sunny day.